It's the James Cooley Show. It's your life. Dr. James JC Cooley. All right.
The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, can be heard every Sunday at 9 p.m. right here on The Answer San Diego. Life is full of circles, cycles, phases, and stages. It's your choice to ignore or embrace them. Motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation, James Cooley and his guest will inspire and equip you to strive for your own greatness and overcome adversities. Listen to The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, every Sunday at 9 p.m. right here on The Answer San Diego.
The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, can be heard every Sunday at 6 p.m. right here on 660 AM The Answer in Dallas-Fort Worth. Life is full of circles, cycles, phases, and stages. It's your choice to ignore them or embrace them. Motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation, James Cooley, and his guests will inspire and equip you to strive for your own greatness and overcome adversities. Listen to The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, every Sunday at 6 p.m. right here on 660 AM The Answer in Dallas-Fort Worth.
Dr. James JC Cooley. The James Cooley Show. It's your life.
Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and wow, we got an absolutely fantastic show coming your way today. We have not talked about hot topics for, I think, at least 3 months, and we got to start bringing that back, Michelle, on a regular basis, because it's so important to discuss some of the things that are happening, especially now in this great country, but a lot of things, I tell you, I can't get behind. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm excited. Oh my gosh, we got an amazing panelists to join us for Hot Topics today. And I'm just excited to hear their thoughts and opinions. And I'm just raring to go.
So can you do the honors by introducing the title of the show, the purpose of the show, and then introduce each one of these absolutely sensational guests?
Yes. Well, hey, audience, it's hot topics for the month of June 2025. And our hot topics include ICE raids, international students removal action from Harvard University, Americans experiencing anxiety about traveling abroad, fearing anti American sentiment, or being targeted. And we got amazing panelists on the show today. Dr. Michael Mantell, mental health professional, rational emotive behavior coach, and cognitive behavioral coach. We also have Joshua Goldsmith, certified financial planner, financial consultant, and owner Goldsmith Financial. And Mel Piconi, she is a financial advisor and she's also an amazing philanthropist. Please welcome to the show. How you guys doing?
Hey, I want to welcome each and every last one of you to the show. This is going to be a great discussion. It's going to be great. And you know what? I ain't holding back nothing, and I hope you guys don't either. Uh, let's let's just put it out there the way it is. So Michelle, I'm gonna turn it back over. You're gonna narrate this.
Yes. Topic number one, ICE raids. The increase in ICE raids is largely attributed to this administration's directive to intensify immigration enforcement. This policy aims to address concerns over undocumented immigration and enforce stricter border control measures. The administration has emphasized the need for robust immigration policies, leading to heightened enforcement actions nationwide. Okay, let's start with Dr. Mantell. Dr. Mantell, do you believe these ICE raids, in your opinion, are a form of racial profiling?
Yeah, well, great question. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. And as JC said, we're not going to hold back. So I want to try and balance my thinking into what ancient wisdom teaches us about these matters. Every human being, regardless of immigration or status or ethnicity or anything, is deserving of dignity, compassion, and fair treatment. So, our ICE raids, excuse me, an example of racial profiling? From a psychological perspective, we understand that implicit bias is very real, and human beings are prone to categorizing and making assumptions about people based on the way they talk, the way they look, their accent, where they're from. When enforcement actions disproportionately target certain racial or ethnic groups, whether intentionally or not, then it can cross into the realm of racial profiling. And that has profound emotional, psychological effects. We have to understand that the country has a right to protect its borders, and a country has its right to uphold immigration laws. But how those laws are enforced, that's the question that we're facing here. The line between justice and injustice is often defined not by what is done, but rather how it is done and to whom it is done. Is it disproportionately applied? So, quick answer: is it an example of racial profiling? Yes, I think when groups are highlighted without, in targeted ways, of course, it's racial profiling.
Thank you, Dr. Mantell. Melissa Bicani, do ICE raids, in your opinion, make communities safer or do they just break them apart?
I wouldn't necessarily say that they make them safer. However, I don't think that it's a dividing thing. I think we've seen how communities come together, whether it's coming together with social media groups that come up and say, hey, there's ice at this corner, or hey, I'm going to harbor. I have people that I've seen say, my housekeeper is going to be here and she's welcome to stay with her family because she's afraid to go out to the grocery store or she's afraid to go to these places. So I've seen the community come together a lot in protection against these ICE raids. So I definitely don't think it's a dividing factor.
Thank you, Melissa. Josh Goldsmith, should ICE be allowed to conduct raids in sensitive locations, whether schools, hospitals, courthouses? I mean, opponents say this is unethical and puts, whether it's patients, children, or families at risk. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, thank you for having me on the show, number one. ICE is a federal agency, as far as I'm aware, that should have the ability to go anywhere and anywhere, everywhere and anywhere to protect our citizens. Now, the question, I think, really comes down to what is at the core value system of that organization and what their policies and procedures are to obtain illegal immigrants. So I think that's where, if we focus on that type of thing, but, going anywhere and everywhere, yes, I think, they should have the ability to do that. But how do they act out their intentions for when they have an order to obtain somebody, whether or not they go to residences, and what if they make a mistake and they go to the wrong location, and how is that going to affect, because that happens more than we think. So yeah, that's where that is, Michelle. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Josh. James, do you believe ICE raids are being used for political purposes, in your opinion?
Absolutely. I think it's what this administration is doing, and this is just my own opinion, using ICE primarily in blue states, and people of color, brown and black and Asian folks of color. I'm just gonna call out how it is. It's so racist, it's so pitiful, and it's so about the Constitution. It's unlawful, and I am totally 100% disgusted that a person, a human being, would be so hateful that he would want whatever it is that his base and what he thinks, that he would utilize this tool to try to get rid of people or certain nationalities, just because of their color, their country, and all that other type of stuff. To me, it's so wrong. And so, to answer your question, yes, I believe it's used for political reasons right now. And I don't think it's just geared toward the criminals. It's geared toward everyone. No one is safe. No one is safe if you meet one of those categories that I just mentioned. So
Yes. I mean, from what we've heard, that they were going after criminals, so to speak, but it just appears it's turning into something else. And then let's talk about the economic costs of workplace raids. Are they worth the enforcement effort? So, businesses such as food processing, agriculture, the restaurants, nail salons, they're facing production setbacks based on some of these ICE raids. I mean, is it worth it? I mean, what do you think?
well, Michelle, hold that question. We got to take a station break. Tell you what, whichever platform that you're watching this on, whether you're watching this on E36 Television, Transfer TV, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Rumble, and over 85 other platforms, welcome to the show. If you want to be part of this discussion that we're having right now, all you have to do is go to the platform that you're watching us on, go to the comments, ask any question that you might have. I promise you, we'll get you an answer. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
Dr. James, JC, Cooley, the James Cooley Show. It's your life.
really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, or hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? And everything that you do.
Welcome to Viridian Christian University, where faith and learning come together to transform lives. At VCU, we believe that education is more than just academics. It's about fostering a community of growth, integrity, and purpose. Whether you're pursuing a bachelor's, master's, or doctorate, VCU offers flexible, affordable, and 100% online degree programs that cater to your busy life. Our innovative platform provides a personalized learning experience, empowering you to thrive in today's ever-evolving world. Join a global community of learners guided by an experienced faculty who are committed to your success. With VCU, you're not just earning a degree, you're preparing for a future that integrates faith, leadership, and service. Viridian Christian University, educating with purpose, transforming lives. Learn more at ViridianChristianUniversity.com. ViridianChristianUniversity.com.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I tell you what, we're talking hot topics. That's what we're talking about. Just in case that you missed the intro of Hot Topic, here we go. Just a quick reminder so you know what the topics that we're talking about. And I believe that all of these topics are so important. And I just don't have the words to say how I think disgusting things are that we're talking about. And you have 40% of the United States is backing all of this stuff. And it's just so wrong. But Michelle, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Thank you, James. So we're talking about ICE raids, and I was asking Dr. Mantell that, there's economic costs for workplace raids, in so many different industries. It could be the food industry. It could be like just any type of service industry where they're losing workers and face production setbacks. Is the cost of workplace raids, is it really worth the enforcement effort, in your opinion?
Well, I'll tell you, I heard that this morning the president say that he was not going to farms and food establishments. He was going to leave that up to the farm owners to assess their own level of concern and dangerousness. But I will tell you that if our goal is to uphold the law while protecting our economic and social health, then workplace raids have to be strategic, they have to be measured, and they have to be morally calibrated. And I don't know if that's where we are being led to today. If they're done broadly or harshly, and they cause more harm than healing, they risk undermining both the justice system, societal well-being, and the economy. So I think that we have to be very concerned about weighing these things out. And I frankly was glad to hear him say today that he's not going to go to farms and he's going to let farmers make that decision themselves. Because as he said, many of these people who may be here illegally, but they're not criminals, they've been working on these farms for 15, 20 years. And he said the owners know best. That was an incredible move for him.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And Josh and Melissa, do you think ICE raids do violate constitutional rights, in your opinion? Let's start with Melissa. Melissa?
I would say for the most part, what we've been Oh, sorry, I think I might be having a technical issue, but I would say for the most part, what we're seeing happening around the country, yes, we're seeing what seem like more random raids. Things that aren't necessarily targeted, where they might have a warrant or a description of a person. We're seeing citizens, people that have papers, people that are not criminals, that are not even illegal, being arrested, being detained, even when they show their paperwork, even in some cases being deported, and it taking weeks, if not months, to correct an error that the administration has admitted, was, as they say, like a clerical error. And so I can't see, we have the right as US citizens and even non citizens, anybody in this country, according to our Constitution, has the right for that due process. And that is not being given in a lot of circumstances that we've seen around the country.
Thank you, Melissa. Josh, what are your thoughts about, does it violate some people's constitutional rights?
This is just my opinion, obviously, because I'm not a constitutional lawyer, attorney, but it seems like I have very limited knowledge on what these what's going on with these raids. I think that most of the American public has limited knowledge, and we just are relying on a lot of news sources to give us the information. So it's difficult to say exactly how things are being carried out. Now, that being said, does it violate our Constitution? I wish I knew. I don't know. It's a difficult circumstance because people feel really, really sharp one way or another based on where they already stand politically. And I believe that, on one hand, I want our country protected. I don't want people here that are here illegally. I mean, that have been here illegally, even if they're not breaking any laws, even if they've been working on the farms, even if they've been holding jobs, but they've never went through the trouble of actually going through the right channels. Should some accountability be held to them? I think so. It hasn't been a law that has been exercised in a very long time, and now it's being exercised, and everyone's feeling hey, I'm willing to go to war over this. But at the same time, let's look at it objectively. Let's take a step back and a deep breath and say, okay, I was born here. I am a citizen. And if I were to move to another country, I would have to go through all of the standards and procedures to become a citizen and to be able to live and own property, et cetera, in another country. But if somebody comes here, why doesn't it work both ways? So we do need to have some accountability for the people that are here illegally. Now, do we have to go all the way to raid them and to have 25 people come for one worker that has been following the rules and the laws for many, many years? That's a spectacle. That's overkill. Let's send them a letter. They're not going anywhere. Send them a letter and then proceed in a much more mild mannered tone. I think that's more appropriate.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you.
I may comment. I was the chief psychologist for the San Diego Police Department for more than a decade. And what we talked about in those meetings with the top level chiefs was human dignity. Someone who committed a crime or was suspected of a crime, they're arrested. But you don't take a senator, as we've seen on TV, or a candidate for mayor and throw them against the wall, pull them apart, and treat them in the most undignified ways. It's just wrong. If raids are conducted in ways that violate constitutional rights, that is a moral and legal failure. We're better than that. And I think it undermines public trust. And I think it damages the social fabric of our country. And we need to stand up for human dignity while we are certainly ready to protect our constitutional rights, but do it in a way that is moral and appropriate.
Thank you, Dr. Mantell. Melissa, did you have any other comments? Or you good?
I just wanted to add, I think our current administration comes from a background of performance and that sensationalism. And I think that that's been brought into the politics that we're seeing today. A lot of it, I've worked in industries where I am working with somebody that for $500, got a green card or got paperwork in an unlegitimate way. And there's no way that my employer at that time knew or didn't, I'm sorry, there's no way that that employer didn't know that this person was undocumented. And so I think instead of going after like randomly targeting places, um, like it was brought up, maybe a letter, maybe go after the employer, maybe have penalties, whether it's, extra taxes or punitive penalties of, hey, if you are knowingly employing this person or you are find to be employing somebody who is undocumented, there are these consequences. And that would deter companies from maybe reaching out and hiring undocumented migrants. And I think that that would be maybe a better way to cut down versus just saying we're going to kind of target these companies, ask everybody to show us their papers and go from there.
Wow, that's a different take on that, Melissa. Thank you. That's very it's very interesting to hear. So we're going to go on to topic number 2. International students removal action from Harvard University. Harvard University has long been a global magnet for international students. However, in recent years, the removal, denial of entry, or visa complications for some admitted students have sparked sharp criticisms from academic communities, human rights organizations, and the public. Stricter visa policies led to many international students being denied entry or being deported, even when legally admitted to schools like Harvard. So let's start with you, Josh. What are your thoughts on a student being deported after passing all legal requirements and being admitted to a top university? And some critics argue this undermines the integrity of the United States visa and admission systems. Can you kind of comment on that?
Yeah, what are the reasons for the deportation order? That's what really matters here. Just to deport somebody, hey, we're flexing our power here. Now, if they're in public protests and inciting riots against what's going on is some anti-Semitism on these campuses like Columbia and Harvard. What's happened is that they've said, okay, we're going to crack down and deport you because you're inciting riot, because you're breaking the law. Which, if they're breaking the law and they're found to be breaking the law, I'm all for the First Amendment. Even if it is against my opinion, that's okay. But if you're inciting riots and hate crimes, I say, you're here on a temporary education visa. Maybe we're going to exercise our rights and send you on your way because maybe you can do better on the next subject matter, because that's how I feel.
What about you, Melissa? So what message does this send about the United States commitment to academic freedom and global education? Because as schools like Harvard, Yale, or just schools in general, top-notch universities, they get a lot of their funding from international students being admitted to programs. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so this is something that I'm not extremely well versed in. So I did a little bit of digging, and according to NAFSA, a recent article that was published, international students add $39 billion to our national economy. That's huge. And by deterring incoming students, we're not only losing that in our economy, but these universities, you have Princeton, these universities are huge resources when it comes to research and development. They research things such as diabetes, such as maternal mortality and cancer. And by not having these students coming in, by not having this influx of knowledge and different minds of thought, we're losing that research. We're losing that ingenuity, and we're losing it to other countries overseas. We're starting to see places like Canada, even China, that are offering full ride scholarships, that are saying, open applications to people who want to come here instead. And it's, we're losing that. We're losing that to other countries.
Thank you, Melissa. I think, James, we need to go to a break.
Yeah, we got to take a station break, but I tell you what, this is both of these topics are great, and we're gonna come back and we're gonna pick it up with this topic. But I tell you what, I'm looking at the numbers, Dr. Mantell. We done went over 7,000 live watches on YouTube alone. So that's a lot. We're not used to getting that many live watches at one time. But I tell you what, if you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is go to the platform that you're watching us on. The comments, ask any question that you might have. I promise you, we'll get you an answer. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
Hi, I'm Dr. Michelle Cooley. Heart disease research saves lives. It's that simple. Thanks to medical advancements funded by the American Heart Association, more women are surviving heart attacks, strokes, and other cardiovascular diseases than ever before. But there's still so much work to do.
Hi, I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and I'm raising funds to support life-saving research because every heartbeat is worth fighting for. In honor of Women's History Month, please join me in support of the American Heart Association and women's health.
A Black Man's Point of View is the newest Amazon.com #1 release and bestseller book from author Dr. James J.C. Cooley, featuring the perspective from 11 other contributing authors. In A Black Man's Point of View, Dr. James Cooley unpacks his thoughts and personal experiences about the challenges, stereotypes, and feelings of self-worth that many black men face today due to a 400-year ancestry rooted in slavery and colonization. Yet, how so many black men move forward despite this history. Most importantly, A Black Man's Point of View conveys that all men, regardless of race, creed, or color, are capable of love, respect, and dignity. Described as a map to a greater life from the heart of a man who's experienced life's misfortune and harsh conditions, James shows us how beliefs, convictions, and a healthy mentality can help propel a life worth living. A must-read for all. Order your copy of A Black Man's Point of View by author Dr. James J.C. Cooley today from Amazon.com or wherever books are sold.
At Viridian Christian University, we believe education is more than just a degree. It's a pathway to a purpose-driven life. Whether you're advancing your career, pursuing a passion, or building a new future, VCU's 100% online programs give you the flexibility to learn on your terms, anywhere, anytime. With expert faculty, personalized mentorship, and a faith-centered approach, you'll gain the skills, knowledge, and leadership you need to make a lasting impact. VCU offers bachelor's, master's, and doctorate degrees, each designed to empower you for success in today's fast-changing world. Join a global community of believers, learners, and leaders. Ready to start your journey? Viridian Christian University, transforming lives, empowering futures. Visit us at ViridianChristianUniversity.com. That's ViridianChristianUniversity.com.
The James Cooley Show. It's your life. That's right.
Oh, I got caught on camera. I tell you what, these three topics that we're talking about today are boiling hot, just like what Dr. Michael Mantell said. And I think we need to really bring back hot topics, Michelle.
Yes, most definitely.
We really need to bring that just back a lot more than what we're doing. And
Do a week of hot topics, Monday through Friday. Let's
I
do
don't
it.
know if we can do all that.
Okay, Wednesdays we can't.
But I tell you, we're talking about this topic right here about Harvard, the foreign students potentially being deported back to their countries, and no one really knows the reason, at least in my opinion. I heard what you said, Josh, in regards to people out there that are doing certain things, and yes, but to just identify a lot of folks just because they're from a certain country or this, that, I think is so wrong. I mean, I think it's wrong.
It's a little weird too. I mean, especially they don't have any criminal background or they've involved in any criminal activity. You can protest, but protest peacefully. I have no problems with protesting. You protest peacefully. That's your right as you do it, not protesting hate. So I get that. But as Melissa was saying, what did you say, 39 billion or 49 billion, Melissa, that we make off international enrollment?
Yeah, the statistic that I read was 39 billion contributed towards the economy.
But what is the percentage of people that are being deported? It's got to be less than 1%. So if we keep this thing in perspective, we're not losing any of that 39 billion. I think that's a misplaced statistic.
Well, I don't think that's the case, Josh.
Right.
I mean, I think that what, at least my understanding, is the president feels that there's too many foreign nationals in these schools. He's not picking certain people out. He's saying that at least he has said people from China, he was going to send them back. Of course, people from Africa and all that other type of stuff, he's going to send them back if they are in these universities. So my question is, why? If you haven't done anything, if you haven't caused any commotion, or you haven't did any of these things, why just send people back because they're from a certain country or a certain nationality? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, if you look at it through the lens of psychology, it makes a lot of sense. Power, punishment, ego. Look, I would summarize this topic this way, JC, that vetting is not immoral. Discrimination is. Clearly. When a nation restricts access to higher education for a group of students, international or otherwise, particularly those who have followed the legal process, who have applied, have gotten good grades, have done everything they need to get into this, whatever school it is, Harvard or whatever, they've gained admission by merit. And they've come to learn, not to harm. It risks sending a message that runs counter to the values of our country: openness, fairness, and intellectual exchange. That's what we are. We're a country that has been a beacon for global education. And unfortunately, because of ego and power and authority and punishing, we're going to lose that.
Yeah, but we've got to be careful not to over blame somebody, because we have a difference of opinion we got to be careful not to overblame, because what there seems to be an underlying issue, and the part of the problem with the politics today is we're not getting all of the story of the information that's coming through. There is also a pending potential war going on in Iran with terrorist a major funder of terrorist organizations and they're the Israelis are attacking, and Iran is sending missiles back and forth, but there are proxies around the world that Iran has that could potentially be within our universities. We haven't been attacked in this country in quite some time. It's always the war somewhere else, but the potential for that grows the longer that we have peace here. We all want peace, but we have to consider it has this country been infiltrated by a certain ethnicity. It's going to be different than the U.S. ethnicity, but what is the information we don't know? And that's always scarier than the information we know.
But let's go back to the issue at hand about deporting college students who have met all the criteria to be accepted to an Ivy League university. I went to the University of Pennsylvania. I mean, lots of people from all around the world were students with me, and they all did what they had to do. To be indiscriminately, if you're from this country, get in the bus. No, you can't do that. If you have committed a crime, if you've disrupted a peaceful protest, if you have attacked a law enforcement officer in a protest, and by the way, I am not for protests. I think we've gone way overboard with this protest. We're teaching kids, I don't want to do my homework. I'm going to go protest and wave a flag. This is ridiculous. Protests don't get us where we want to go. Sitting down where decisions are made in meetings, that's different. But to go back to this point, I'm not pointing a finger at any individual. I'm not saying this is Trump's fault. That's silliness. May be in many ways part of what's going on, but I'm not going to point that finger. I'm just pointing to the fact that if you haven't broken a crime and you have been admitted according to all the standards, what am I being sent home for? Doesn't make sense.
Wow, we can talk about this all day, but we got another topic. Ready? Topic number 3. Hold on. Basically, it is international Americans. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. I'm a little tongue-tied right here. Okay, so here we go. Topic number 3, Americans experiencing anxiety about traveling abroad, fearing anti-American sentiment or being targeted. In recent years, growing numbers of Americans have expressed anxiety about international travel, citing fears of anti-American sentiment, geopolitical tensions, and being targeted abroad. These concerns are shaped by a mix of global events, U.S. foreign policy, and rising nationalism in other countries. So the question is, I'm going to ask you, Josh, to what extent are fears being targeted abroad by Americans based on actual threats versus media-driven perception, in your opinion?
Wow, that's a very loaded question, Michelle. We got to unpack that a little bit. My personal opinion, as far as traveling abroad, am I concerned if I want to go to any other country? No more so than I was last year or the year before or the year before that. I honestly think that I've said it before, I think a lot of the media information that we're getting is limited. We don't even know, it's hard to find out how we're viewed by other countries, and so relying on some information that says, to me, it's like, okay, they're trying to instill fear. They're looking at us in another country, and then they're not. Our sentiment is down, so we shouldn't go there. Fear. I want to go there. I want to go to Australia. I want to go to France again. I want to experience other cultures and immerse myself. That's how I grow. That's having this exposure. So I don't really agree that, honestly, I think that this is not even a hot topic to me, and I'm just going to be frank, because it's not hot. Because what are we doing? We're instilling more fear about moving to a different country, traveling to a different country, visiting those other countries. And what do those countries think of us? Should we care that much? We do have we used to have the reputation, at least I was aware of, that, hey, the United States liberated the world from Nazi Germany. And there was a lot of appreciation throughout Europe as Americans when you traveled there, and we can expect that. Now, James probably has a better idea on this type of sentiment than I do, because you're a military veteran, sir, and I would appreciate hearing from you on this topic. So I'm gonna stop there.
Well, we're gonna take a station break, and on the other side, I come back and I give my thoughts and my views. I tell you, this is so great. I don't even want it to end, because it's so needed. I tell you what, whichever platform you're watching this on, all you have to do is go to the comments, ask any question that you might have. I promise you, we'll get you an answer. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
Dr. James J.C. Cooley. The James Cooley Show. It's your life.
Noah Dingley here, producer of The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And the new audio version of James' book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, is a must-have. James shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. Get the new audio version of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James Cooley on Amazon.com or wherever audiobooks are sold.
Africa is rising and the world is watching. This July, Tanzania hosts the Africa Trade and Investment Conference, the TIC 2025. A bold step toward Agenda 2063 and the African Continental Free Trade Area. From youth innovation to women in export, from mining to real estate, from B2B to G2G, this is where transformation happens. Break barriers and be a part of the future of Africa.
The future is here.
Now is the time to pursue the greatness in you. Welcome to Viridian Christian University, where faith meets future. We are a fully accredited, 100% online Christian university. We offer bachelor's degree, master's and doctorate degree programs, built for students like you. Affordable tuitions, 30+ degree programs, 100% online and flexible. Integrating faith with learning. Study from anywhere at your pace. At VCU, we do not just prepare you for a degree. We prepare you for purpose. Discover who you are. Grow in faith. And build a future that impacts the world.
Are you ready to start your journey today?
Visit www.viridianchristianuniversity.com.
Apply today and be among the global leaders.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And today we're talking about hot topics. And these topics, just in the words, Dr. Michael Mantell, they're boiling hot. But they need to be discussed. So before we get into this, I want to tell you all about this absolutely fantastic university called Viridian Christian University. Yeah, I'm the chancellor, but that's not why I'm telling you about it. I'm telling you about this program because in this university because we offer over 30 degree programs, 30 separate degree programs, and the bachelor's, master's, doctorate degree programs. And I tell you what, these programs are very, very affordable, and the school is fully accredited. So if you're looking to further your education, look no further than meridianchristianuniversity.com. Again, that's meridianchristianuniversity.com. And we got a spot for you. Yeah, so I want to get back to this. And Josh, you had mentioned, Michelle, can you repeat that question again?
Oh, the question is, to what extent are fears of of Americans being targeted abroad based on actual threats versus media-driven perception?
Well, I travel overseas a lot, and I'm getting ready to go overseas in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
The media drives a lot of fear because a person don't know if just getting out and you're gonna get over and have problems, you won't be able to get by it. I have not thought about that yet because I'm getting ready to go to Tanzania. But I do know that the perception of that based on how others countries feel about America could stir up some things, could cause some problems, could do a whole lot of things. So I I think the media is part of that. I think the perception of what they think about the United States under this administration is causing fear, causing hatred, causing a whole lot of things. So, but that is a problem. I believe that there is a problem in certain countries more so than others. Certain countries I won't even think about going. I'm just gonna tell the truth. It's not even a thought. So I hope that answers your question, Josh.
I'll just add one other point, just to keep it very pointed. There's an expression in the media: if it bleeds, it leads. Media focuses on what's bad first.
Mm-hmm.
You don't hear reports of, well, Michael Mantell and his wife went to France. They had a lovely time. We'll be back after this. You don't hear that. But if I went to France and God forbid someone attacked me, that would make news. And other people have that same reverberation. I'm not going there. So, yeah, I think the media plays a big role in stirring up fear. And fear creates an echo chamber. Faith builds bridges.
Wow.
I think.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Melissa.
Oh, if I can just add, I've been traveling my whole life. I've been to countries such as China, Dubai, Tibet, both just backpacking and doing it, trains, planes, automobiles, all of that. And one of the number one things you want to do is you don't want to be flashy. When you travel, you want to do what you can to respect other cultures. You want to do what you can to assimilate with the community. And for people that go wearing their MAGA hats, wearing, big American flags or things along those lines that just proclaim I'm an American, that's great. It's great to be proud of your country. It's great to be proud of, where you come from, but leave that at home. You're there to travel. You're there to immerse yourself in somebody else's country and somebody else's culture. And I think if people are smart about that, then you're not going to run into those issues. So
amen to that. I love it. Perfectly said. We are there in another person, in another country to learn their ways. And sometimes not all Americans, but just reading and just seeing things. Americans are kind of looked at as being entitled and disrespectful. Not all Americans, but that's the perception. So I like your suggestion, Melissa, when you go there to another country, be respectful. You go into another country to explore their culture, to embrace it, to learn about it, and not to feel, and especially when you're a guest in another country. So whether you're staying at a resort, a hotel, or wherever you're staying, regardless of what your economic, income is, don't act like, oh, I'm rich, I'm wealthy, do this, I'm American, or it's a turnoff. It's a turn.
Yeah, and it's important also, Michelle, to piggyback that to understand that we are the new kid on the block. Okay, our country is young compared to a lot of countries in Europe. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I went to Amsterdam a few years ago, and I threw out my whole suitcase when I realized how different and underdressed I was. I thought it was going to be a casual trip, but even just going to the coffee shop, I mean, I could feel the eyes on me, and just like my pleather jacket, like, no, I'm going to go buy the leather one, because there's a decorum, a social decorum that is just it's above our pay grade here as Americans, where especially in Southern California, where we're in, it's just casual city here. You can wear trousers and a short sleeve button down to a business meeting. Over there it's not like that. There is a different the culture shock that you will get just by traveling to these other countries. Mel, you're shaking your head, you agree, is incredible, and you don't realize that unless you travel. And I think that we need to start looking at ways we can make the world a safer place to travel, and because we're a more global economy. I mean, certainly these technology companies are global. You have Apple and Google and Amazon. These are with the advent of AI, becoming it's happening so fast. We have to be able to accept and be able to integrate other people's cultures with our own more proficiently.
Thank you, Josh. We got less than 1 minute. I know Dr. Mantell, you would say something. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
One word: humility. The remedy is humility. The goal isn't to erase our American identity when we travel. It's to wear it with modesty, with humility, and with respect.
Wow. We're down to the last minute of the show. I tell you what, everybody stick around if you can for like a minute or two after the show. But I want to thank each and every last one of you for taking the time to come on this show. I would love to do this again next month. I don't know if you guys' schedule would permit, but I would love to have this same panel back on next month. Let Michelle know if you guys can do this. So I want to thank each and every last one of you. I want to thank Michelle for putting together another absolutely fantastic show. And, I'd like to thank our viewers and listeners out there for always tuning in to the James Cooley Show Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and also on Sundays on AM 660, The Answer out of Dallas, Fort Worth, and AM 1170, The Answer, KCBQ out of San Diego, and also Spotify and all the other iHeartRadio and all the other platforms. I'd like to thank our viewers for, again, you are the most important thing. Always dream big, think big, and be big at everything you do. We'll be back Monday, same time, same place. It's your life.